Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I am Peter Martin and I'm delighted that you could join us on the programme. Thank you very much to the ever-growing football family spreading the word of the programme across all social media outlets. In the studio with me, Alan Ruff and Tam McManus. So it must indeed be Wednesday, and we've got Champions League football and of course Europa League football to look forward to. Yes, lots of football to discuss on the programme. We start on a rather sad note, just reflecting on the news coming out of Hampden Park that the SFA head of refereeing, John Fleming, sadly passed away at the age of 62. John was a softly spoken man and always a gentleman, and certainly when you were looking for answers with regards to refereeing issues over any game, I can recall over the last 20 years, you know, he was always there with a smile, Roughie. He was always there with an answer. He would help in any way he could, explaining certain laws and trying to give you a balanced view on any issue that has raised its head.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I'd phoned him 2 or 3 times about the rules of the game, which I think a lot of footballers don't grasp 100%. And you're right, you know, if he wasn't in to answer the call, he would make a point of getting back to you and he would put you straight. And this is, I've been right all the time, but I mean, yeah. He let you know this is the rule, the particular rule that you are talking about. And as you said, the best thing was he was approachable, whereas before you wouldn't get a phone call, you know, and he changed the whole outlook of that department.
Yeah, absolutely. And the SFA president, Rod Petrie, released a statement with regards to John's passing. John was a private man, and many people will be shocked to learn of his passing after an illness born with fortitude. His commitment to the game, his refereeing colleagues and the association. He worked tirelessly in support of his match officials, who he considered an extended family. He undertook his responsibilities as head of referee operations with passion and integrity. I know I speak on behalf of the board, John's friends and colleagues within the Scottish FA, the refereeing community and the clubs across the country in saying that we will miss a trusted colleague, a man of honour and principle and a dear friend. And the Celtic boss, speaking ahead of their match against Lazio, Neil Lennon, had this to say about John's passing.
I'm devastated. You know, got on great with John. Always really good protocol, great leadership qualities when it came to the refereeing department. He set a really good standard. Last time I saw him was August, you know, when he's briefing us on the new rules and regulations, as he always did. I'm sure he would have got plenty of nagging phone calls on a Monday morning after weekends, but he always handled that brilliantly, and he'll be a huge loss to the game.
Yes, on behalf of the football show, and I'm sure everyone within the Scottish football community, our thoughts, prayers and condolences to John's family at this very sad time. So football tonight and tomorrow is all about European issues, not only Champions League but of course Europa League, and Scottish interests lies with Celtic and Rangers. The one thing that Rangers are slightly worried about is the conduct of their fans. They've released a statement with regards to the travelling support on their way to Portugal, some already in Portugal for this match with Porto. Rangers takes this opportunity to remind supporters travelling to Portugal for the Europa League match against Porto that they have a duty to represent the club in the best possible way. There must be no singing of songs or behaviour which UEFA could deem unacceptable, and the club urges all their fans in Portugal to do everything possible to portray themselves and Rangers in the best possible light. Remember, UEFA has already imposed a sanction on Rangers, so we must be vigilant and give them no cause to take further and more serious action against us. Let others fall foul of the authorities. we have seen what happened in Bulgaria just more than a week ago, and there is now an investigation into a racist slur against one of our own. So with that in mind, I think it's a strong message, and I think it's one that really they're going to have to pay heed to, Roughie.
Yeah, they're under the microscope now, as all these clubs are. Yeah, if you're already been targeted and fined, there will be somebody in that game just sitting wholly for looking at supporters, you know, so they have to be on their guard for that one, you know, and it is terrible that it generally is the away fans that are causing the problem. So all these people that can't afford to go away are the ones that are getting punished, you know, if anything happens. So we're hoping it is. I think the flares is away from home is the one that they're really clamping down on. But yes, everybody has to be on their guard.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Well, what about Rangers' chances of taking something in Portugal? Our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi has a look at the match.
Rangers are in Portugal for tomorrow night's game against Porto, a team you would usually associate with the Champions League, considering they've won the tournament twice and were in last season's quarter-finals. However, thanks to FC Krasnodar, they are in the Europa League this campaign and are bottom on goal difference in a tight Group G. So what will Steven Gerrard's men meet on Thursday? A team in form for sure. They've won 9 of their last 10 matches and they're only 1 point off the top of the Portuguese league table. They have players of pedigree with Brazilian fullback Alex Telles, top goalscorer Zé Luís and the infamous former Real Madrid man Pepe marshalling the backline at the age of 36. Interestingly, Pepe scored twice in a 3-2 defeat at Ibrox when the two teams met in the 2005 Champions League, with Rangers surprising their hosts to a 1-1 draw in the return fixture. Surely most travelling fans would take the same scoreline if they were offered that tomorrow evening.
Yeah, it's amazing when you look back, Tam, at some of the pictures and some of the players that were playing that managed to get some really good scalps for Rangers in European competition. They could do with a few of them now.
Yes, absolutely. Just looking at some of the pictures, I think Chris Burke was there, Ian Murray, an ex-teammate of mine, was there, Ross McCormack, I think, scored the goal. And Alan McLeish had a good side and they'd done really well in Europe, but they'll be looking for a similar result. You know, one each would be a great result for Rangers. I think Porto are obviously used to being in the Champions League every year. I don't know how seriously they'll take the Europa League. I think the league will be obviously their focus against Benfica and Sporting Lisbon, the big three over there, but still be a difficult game for Rangers and they'll be looking to try and get anything at all away from home.
Yeah, it will be tight, Roughie. I mean, that's the key issue here. You know, I can look back and great times when, you know, you're looking at Rangers, the run to Manchester when they were able to go and defeat Sporting Lisbon, but it was a well-organised, disciplined unit that Walter Smith had assembled there. It's going to take something similar, albeit this is not the Porto of old, but it's still a team, as you mentioned there. You look at Pepe, they've got a nice little mix of youth and experience. Yeah,
Rangers have done well in Europe away from home. You know, they've looked organised. Okay, they've nicked a goal and try to see the game out. But I think getting into the games, there'll not be that much fear. I don't know, is Ryan Kent, is he available? You know, that's a wee addition, you know, that could cause a surprise. I think this is the biggest test that Rangers will have in Europe under Steven Gerrard. And it'll be interesting to see how they come out here.
Yep, okay. Give me your predictions then, guys. How do you see it going?
I think Rangers will struggle. I think that Porto will win the game. I think 2-1 to Porto.
I think if Alan McGregor puts up his usual European display, Rangers might be able to get away with a draw.
Okay, coming up, we'll be looking at Celtic to see how they're going to fare against Lazio. That's after the quiz. Don't worry, we've learned our lesson this week. We won't even look at Tam McManus as he blurts out usually the wrong answer, but he still blurts something out anyway, so we're not going to give him even a chance at a year there, because like Roughie, as soon as he saw the face of Kylie Minogue, I know he would have been all over that year. Anyway, apart from anything else, on to Celtic, because they're at home against Lazio. It's going to be an unbelievable game, to be perfectly honest with you, and I think it'll be bouncing at home, Roughie, for this one. As Tam mentioned there as well, you wonder about the desire of some European clubs with regards to the Europa League competition. But Lazio are off the pace in Serie A. You just wonder.
There they are off the pace. Obviously, the Cluj game was a bit of a surprise to everybody. I mean, obviously Celtic will have looked at that game and taken some from it. But I think the Cluj result for Celtic was a tremendous European night. In 45 minutes, as I said before, I haven't witnessed, a game being played at that pace, and Cluj just couldn't handle it at all. If Celtic can come up with that kind of performance, I know that these teams are good on the counter-attack, and I think that's the main thing that Celtic will have to beware, because they're usually quite good at that. But no, I think Celtic can win this one. Yeah,
and Cham out injured, Rogic back in training, and it looks as if he could be available if required, and of course Christie back from suspension.
Yeah, Celtic are strong. They've got a big squad of players. As I said, Rogic coming in, almost a forgotten man at Celtic. He was so good over the last couple of years. He's had injury problems. I think he's a lad that takes quite a bit to get fit. He needs games. In terms of playing 90 minutes. He's not played many for Celtic, but he's a very talented player, and he'd be a big boost coming in for Celtic. But as you said, Lazio are still a big name in European football. I think that's captured the imagination of the Celtic fans. But in terms of how good a side are they, I think Celtic could turn them over.
Yeah, okay, interesting stuff. You don't need to get the manager up for this one. He's well excited.
Yes, I think that's a fair assessment. I think the performance at the weekend was as complete as I've had in terms of attacking, defending and all-round control of the game. So yeah, I mean, the players should take a lot from that. We know now that this is a different animal in terms of footballing quality. It's almost like a Champions League game really, with the size of the two clubs and the prestige that the game holds. So yeah, we're very much looking forward to it, and it's a great game for our players to gain that more vital European experience.
Yeah, they'll be there for the disco lights, and then they'll be wondering whether the team can actually match up to the excitement that usually takes place ahead of any European match at Celtic Park. As far as some of the players that he has available to him, we mentioned the injured players, it's getting more and more interesting, Roughie, as he starts to add players who are really giving him extra food for thought. And I'm talking about Jeremy Frimpong, because he certainly excited everybody at the weekend in the 6-0 win over Ross County.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if the young lads impressed them enough at the weekend to throw him into this European game. He was traditional fullback, getting forward, throwing balls into the box, showing a lot of confidence and a lot of ability. So it'll be an interesting one if he thinks the boy's good enough to go into this game.
Yeah, Neil Lennon himself has played a major part in the development of Frimpong, and that's according to the player himself.
Oh, he was like, there was one session where we did like an 11-a-side, and I was really good in that, and he was like, oh, it's fantastic. And then I was just waiting to go home, and then he was like, just be ready. So then obviously I just had a smile on my face. I was like, oh yes, here we go. So it was really good. Oh, a lot, like me and Neil, sometimes we work my crosses, and that's really improved, because when I first came, I would get there, but my end product wouldn't be that great. So we'll stay behind, and you give me some balls and I'll just whip them in. So I think I've really improved in that.
I'm not so sure. I think this might be a game too much for him, Tam. If I was Neil Lennon, I think he'll be looking for tried and trusted experience in a game of this stature.
Yeah, I think it's a different kettle of fish, no disrespect, playing against Ross County at home and then playing against a top Serie A team, Lazio. I think you've got to defend properly, and I think Celtic will play the most experienced team they have. And Celtic will try and keep a strong back four, and Scott Brown will kind of shield the centre halves. And I think apart from that, the rest of them will go and win the game. But I don't think he'll start tonight. I think they'll I think he'll be on the bench.
Okay, we'll reflect on last night's Champions League on the way, and we'll also look to the matches this evening, including words from Jurgen Klopp on their form going into this European match against Genk. That's all to come. A couple of quick points, ideal to get your thoughts on it, since you played your football in Edinburgh as well as Roughie, Tam, and that is Martin Boyle back in training. That'll be like a brand new signing, and a really good one at that.
Oh, I think the Hibs have missed him massively. I think he's a tremendous player. His pace, he can play through the middle, he can play wide. He's very versatile. He's played at right back as well for Hibs. He's a terrific player, and obviously been capped for Australia as well. He was playing really well until he got his injury. I think the Hibs supporters will be delighted to see him back. I think he offers them something different from the likes of Darryl Horgan and Joe Neal, where he can go in behind. And I think he'd be a great, as you said, a new signing for Hibs, and just at the right time, they're really needing him.
Yeah, and the other point here, Roughie, is some fans tend to forget, the injuries that Heckingbottom has suffered as a Hibs manager. David Gray, Slivka, again still on the sidelines. Darren McGregor too.
Yeah, I think every manager in the Premier League could give you that kind of list of players that they're missing. But Boyle coming back, the season that before he got the injury, he just absolutely lit up the whole Hibs team. Every week he was absolutely electric, and that might be the player that these two strikers need. To sort of get quality balls into the box in the right positions where they want to go and attack it rather than having their back to the game all the time. Somebody can get to the byline and put balls in, and that might just be the turning point.
Yeah, Champions League football. I certainly enjoyed what was on offer last night, and I'm looking forward to what's on offer tonight. Here's a look back at what happened in the Champions League last night, involving a couple of English clubs. It was Shakhtar Donetsk and Dinamo Zagreb sharing the draw. Atletico Madrid getting a narrow win over Bayer Leverkusen. No problems for PSG in Belgium against Club Brugge. I watched Galatasaray against Real Madrid. It was one goal that settled it, and a brilliant display of goalkeeping from Thibaut Courtois. And Bayern Munich, well, it was 3-2. They edged out Olympiacos in the fantastic atmosphere in Greece. No problems for Spurs or Man City, emphatic with their 5 goals each. And then Juventus coming back to defeat Lokomotiv Moscow. Now, on that, as far as the two English clubs are concerned, boy, did the Spurs need a 5-0 win like that. Kane firing on all cylinders, Son looking as if he was back to his best.
Yeah, I think Pochettino's under a bit of pressure. I think their performances, particularly in the league, have not been good enough for the squad of players he's got. And, it was a big result for him last night. I think it's their all-time record Champions League victory as well. New stadium. I think just to try and get the players back on side again, because they have been struggling, but I think that can kick them on. And I think Harry Kane's tremendous. I think that you look at Kane and, I think Roy Keane was speaking about him there, Man United should go for him. He's the best number 9 in the world. I think he is. I think he's the best striker in the world.
Best striker in the world?
Yes.
Do I love having you on, Tam. Honestly, it's fantastic. There's always that look as I look at you. When you go out for a pint with your mate, you think your mate's a rocket. I love that about you. You come out with a line and I think, what? Get me another pint, Roughie, till we stay and argue with him. Best striker in the world, Roughie.
Yeah, well, I'll throw in. Are you counting Messi as a striker?
No, he's not a striker.
Number
nine. Main striker.
Ronaldo's a number 9.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a number 9. Yeah. He moved from a number 7 to a number 9. Are we having it? What about Lewandowski's strike rate?
I'd rather have Kane than Lewandowski.
What?
Yes.
At the top level?
Yes.
What about Mbappe or whatever he's called?
Mbappe.
He's a winger.
Yeah. Okay. Don't forget, you can actually leather Tam on his own account, Tin Man, on his Twitter. Don't bother talking to us about it. Anyway, apart from that, Man City were as ever. I just wonder if you need to spend $1 billion, Roughie, to win the Champions League, because surely somebody sooner or later is going to ask questions of them, of City.
They need a centre half. They need to go. They're quite happy to go and spend 80, 90 million in midfielders and strikers. Go out and get a decent centre half, and you've got the goalkeeper now. All they need is a centre half for me to get further than whatever they get.
Yeah, talking of centre halves, Liverpool have got a good one. His name is Virgil van Dijk. He's in a Liverpool side that really has to try and improve their away record. It was poor last season and they went on to win the Champions League. And this season, even Jurgen Klopp admits they're looking for improvement against Genk.
Last year we were lucky with the how tight the group was, and that we could lose 3 times away. and still have a chance to make it through the group. That will not happen this year. That will not happen, so it's completely different. We don't rely on home games or whatever, but obviously we like to say European nights at Anfield are really special, but other teams can make a special atmosphere as well. And then it's difficult there. They are all not all the same. We could have won away games, to be honest, performance-wise, which we didn't win for some reason. But we know that's not historically good what we did in the last 2 years. But in general, the Champions League obviously was really good, which we played. We did the right things, at least in the right moment. But we don't rely on these things. We know that we have to improve, and we try again and again and again until it works out.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be too many problems in Genk tonight, lads. Here's a look at the matches on offer, not too far away from Ajax against Chelsea kicking off. That's an early kick-off at 5:55, and it's a cracker with the mix of youth and experience across both sides there. And let's not forget Genk against Liverpool. And you look at some of the other games, I think if the pick of them all's got to be Inter Milan against Borussia Dortmund. But Tam, what are you going for, Ajax, Chelsea?
I've been quite impressed with Chelsea this season, to be honest with you. Under Frank Lampard, he's gave a lot of younger boys a chance as well. Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount. So Ajax are strong as well. It'll be a cracking game. I don't know, maybe a score draw, but a really good game.
Roughie?
I think it's just too early for the young boys at this level. I'm going to go for a home win.
Okay, and what about Genk, Liverpool?
I think Liverpool should win that one.
Yeah, I think they win 4-0.
Okay, yeah, that's why we love Tammy's on. He gives you the score. I was going to ask him the minutes when the goals would be scored as well, but I'm still reeling from Harry Kane's the best number 9 in the world. We'll debate that and continue the argument in a pub. Hopefully Tam is paying. And you can join us across all our social media. Give us your thoughts on it. Tam McManus thinks Harry Kane's the best number 9 in the world. Tell us on Twitter, on Facebook, not forgetting Facebook Live. And you can join us on YouTube every day, Monday to Friday. All you have to do is subscribe as well and tell your mates about it, the ever-growing football family. We'd love to hear from you. And all that I have to say now is don't forget you can download our app too. That gives you access to the shop, and we've just released a special Jim Scullion collection of some fabulous paintings, canvas, prints and t-shirts of 10 great legends, and there's another 10 legends on the way as well. Maybe one of them will be your favourite and a great Christmas present. So from Roughie, from Tam McManus and from myself, Peter Martin, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.